Hi there, Chris from TotallyEV, and today we're going to be looking at the audio system that's comprised within the Kia e-Niro. Now if you'd like some more information about the car, or indeed would like to know the other aspects of how this car performs, do check out our full written review and indeed our YouTube review down in the description below. Also down there you'll find a link to our Instagram. It's at TotallyEVNet, so we'd very much appreciate a follow if you use that social media platform. Now in terms of the audio setup, the model we've got here is the Kia e-Niro 4, and similarly with the 4 Plus, it has a JBL audio system that has an 8-speaker layout and 320 watts of total power. And that's namely because of a subwoofer that's located in the boot. There's 2 speakers in the rear and 5 speakers at the front, one of which is a center speaker. Now elsewhere through the infotainment display you can also customize your EQ. In our case what we've done is added a little bit to the mid-range and taken away a little bit on the treble while leaving the bass at +0. To give you an indication of how the system sounds, and of course it's not an ideal world given it's compressed on YouTube, we've put the camera in 4 different positions and listened to a song. The song in question is from Priya J and her song name is Falling. Do check out her song if you do like it in the description below.
When I reach the brink, don't stop to think. I always sing, and now I'm singing. I'm crawling, I am crawling my way back to falling from so high, falling from so high. The thing is, my imagination is constantly racing.
Now with the sound demo out of the way, let's get into my subjective opinion about the Kia e-Niro sound system. And first off, let's talk about the sub bass. Now the sub bass is really present, and that's purely because there is a physical subwoofer located in the boot. A lot of its competitors use a virtual subwoofer, which really doesn't produce the same sort of low-end grunt that you'd like to hear in, let's say, bass-orientated music. However, there is a bit of a lack of a subwoofer option. I would have liked to have seen a subwoofer option separate from the bass option in the infotainment system, because I would have liked to just tailor it just a little bit more powerful. Given the car's size, the subwoofer doesn't come as powerful as I would have liked it to be. And that's all due to the mid bass, which is actually pretty perfect. As the default EQ, you won't want to really adjust it more, or else it overpowers the overall tonality, whilst if you were to reduce it, the mid bass will just sound a little bit subdued. So here JBL have done a fantastic job in integrating a really punchy mid bass response. Unfortunately, the same couldn't be said about the mids, which are a little bit recessed and pushed back. What I would have liked here is a little bit more emphasis in the mid range, and specifically when it comes to listening to vocal tracks. For example, Priya's track that we just heard, it just seems just a little bit subdued. As such, I did tailor it in terms of the EQ and adding +2 to the EQ, although anything more than that, it just gives it somewhat of an artificial mid-range sound. As for the highs, they're actually a little bit sibilant and harsh as in the default EQ mode. And while they do extend, they just lack a little bit of dynamism. What I would have liked here is that the highs would have extended all that little bit more without sounding too harsh or sibilant. Given the fact that it's a little bit harsh when you do crank up the sound a little bit higher, I did reduce the EQ in terms of the high department by 2 notches. Of course, your mileage may vary depending on the sensitivity of your ears. And finally, we get on to Soundstage. Now, while the JBL system does boast 8 speakers, or shall we say 7 speakers minus the subwoofer, the instrument separation and width and depth isn't quite matching with the sheer number of drivers that are present within the cabin. Specifically, if you're sitting in the back, there's only 1 speaker per door, so another per side, and it just doesn't sound as involving and as engaging as you might expect. At the front, there is a little bit more of a sense of depth and width, purely because there are 5 speakers, 1 on each door, 1 near the A-pillars, well, near the dashboard, and 1 at the center, I think as a center speaker. Again, a bit more width, depth, and instrument separation and clarity would have been very much appreciated, but still it's got a good sort of tonality, and the imaging is pretty on point too. On the whole, the JBL audio system comprised within the Kia e-Niro is good, although isn't as good as I would have expected from a company like JBL, or specifically given the speaker array. I would have preferred a subwoofer control that I could have just tailored my EQ, and furthermore a little bit better instrument separation and a slight boost in the mid-range tones. Now that's just my subjective opinions and thoughts about it. Let me know if you've heard the Kia e-Niro 4's audio system, or the 4 Pluses, or of course the Kia e-Niro 2 and 3, which have different audio systems, so just worth bearing that in mind. Let us know in the comments below. Very much intrigued to hear your thoughts. Alright, I've been Chris from TotallyEV. If you've liked this video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to see more, and of course favourite and share, as it always helps the channel grow. Take care, and bye bye.